And by the way, just want to let you guys know, you guys are making history right now, because
Okay.
I've done probably over 150 podcasts so far, and this is the first time I ever interviewed two people at the same time. All right, so bear with me today. This is a little confusing for me here, but we're going to get through this, and I'm really excited. I actually was very, very excited about doing this. But they call you, Rachel, or you're actually a fearless marketing lady boss, Standout Authority, right? That's your guys's brand. And
Oh
so
yeah.
tell me, why do they call you the marketing lady boss?
They call me the branding lady boss, marketing and branding, but I sort of use the branding lady boss because my superpower is understanding people and what their story is and what their voice is and how to bring that to market. I used to do it for companies and can still do it for companies. But the reason why I left my corporate job a few months ago to partner with Josh and Standout Authority is because I think the power is really in the personal brands and the people behind all companies and businesses.
And so what sort of companies did you work with, like, through the years that maybe we might recognize?
Yeah. Before being with Standout Authority, I was at Microsoft and Gartner. So I spent some time in the software tech world as a woman in tech, really understanding quote unquote the B2B side software world and really what it is to serve small, medium-sized enterprise businesses through software solutions. Yeah, a little bit different than today.
She's humble, I mean, she was going over there. I mean, she was Microsoft doing some pretty big things for the Microsoft Partner Network, doing some massive rebranding over there. And then, when she got over to Gartner, really kind of taking, hold of her at the digital market side. So it's honestly really honored to be able to have my wife. Believe me, Daniel, I tried to convince her for many years, hey, you need to make the jump. And it's interesting. It finally took Clubhouse and being able to kind of get her voice there that she was like, okay, I'm ready to be able to make that shift.
And so what was your major hesitation though, Rachel?
Daniel, I grew up as, I grew up in a Jewish family, beautiful family in California. And everything was about having a job, a great job, having that job, which is quote unquote, working and being employed, great benefits, that path. And then thinking about, okay, if I'm going to have a job, then maybe I'll be the C-level, work my way up into a C-level. And that was the path that I was on. That's why I went to go get my MBA. It's because of the MBA at University of Texas McCombs School of Business that I transitioned into the tech world and, got that big corporate job, getting the great feedback that, you're on that ladder to, high leadership and really feeling that lack of purpose. And no matter how much I might love the people and the work was good, I really felt that inside something was missing and that a part of me wasn't able to be my fullest authentic self. And living my purpose is more important than having the stability of a job. And I think so many of us stay in a job because it's comfortable. It is very comfortable. And,
but she gets definitely fearful of me as well too. She's watching the entrepreneurial, like, look, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So,
the ups and downs, it's scary. But, with being with Josh and seeing his journey and getting a lot of encouragement with him and seeing that there's a great power in us being a powerful couple in business together and what we want to do with voices and people and the power of LinkedIn, that there was just really great opportunity. And life is now. And I mean, we learned that more than anything, right? With COVID and the pandemic. So
so you were so Rachel, you were kind of like, I'm reading you guys now. You were kind of the like, let's be safe. Let's make sure we keep the job. We got to keep the income coming in. And Josh, I could see Josh over there. And he's just a rogue dude, right? He's like, he's the entrepreneur. He wrote a book called Balance is Bullshit. So that, I mean, it tells me everything about Josh right there, right?
Yeah.
Just in the title, it'll tell me, like, very easy to read you, Josh. So Josh, why did you want to be an entrepreneur so bad? And like, why are you such a risk taker? And why did you just go for it? Like, what is in you that made you do that?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. Rachel was actually trying to ask me that question earlier. We're trying to like film, different videos for Instagram. She's like, "Oh, why you become an entrepreneur?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's always interesting when you kind of have this question, because I don't know if I actually became an entrepreneur. Like I kind of look back as a kid, like there was always things like from selling candy out of my locker, right? Like my mom used to tell me I used to want to go to summer school because I understood how to actually play cards. And I was the teachers told my parents that I was taking money from the other kids, right? So there was all those kind of things. But honestly, when it all came down to it, this is about 20 years ago, I really kind of got thrown into it because I didn't see any other path. I was, I had my broker's license and I left Texas and went out to California, and I had my own brokerage office out there. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall in 2002 that it was going to be there was a lot of turmoil that was coming. People were quote unquote running over their own grandmothers to close loans with reverse mortgages, neg-ams, all those kind of things. And, a buddy of mine brought me into the online advertising world, which back then in 2002, really hard to get into. And really the owner of the company changed from a business owner to a business operator. There's a massive difference in that, with him actually trying to run the company, and really shut it down and kind of put me on the couch going, okay, what am I going to do? And I had built some amazing relationships. That's kind of where I started my first company, on the couch, kind of going, all right, you know what? I got this relationship and I have this other relationship. Let me be the middleman between there. And that's kind of where my first really jump in entrepreneurship and being able to control my own destiny really kind of came from. And since then, I mean, built 16 different companies, and, it's been a wild ride, and probably some of the reason why when Rachel and I, first met, I was actually kind of going through a reset myself, and I went through a divorce and shut down 10 of my companies, walked away from everything. And so no wonder she had a little fear, because she's like, wait a minute, this dude was doing a whole bunch of things. And, to really save my children, that time and energy of trying to go through a divorce, I just walked away at 36, moved back in with my parents with a little bit under $1,000 my name, and kind of reset my life. And so that's when Rachel kind of showed up shortly after that. No wonder she had a little fear around being an entrepreneur.
So what was that like? Well, first of all, how did you guys meet? How did that happen? Where did you meet?
Tell the story well.
What was it, on MySpace? Was it on MySpace?
MySpace was one of my original clients, yes, but
that's it. There you go. Okay.
I think, Rachel, were you ever even on MySpace?
I was on MySpace. We're 9 years apart, so so we didn't meet on a dating app. We met on the streets bar scene in Austin, Texas. So we're here in Austin, Texas. He was celebrating a friend's birthday. I was celebrating a bachelorette party. And he came over with his man bun and said, "Hey, do y'all want a fireball shot?" He had a bottle of Fireball. And I said, "Yes, we do. We do."
And the rest is history. Well, I think it worked out well, history. Daniel, just because, instead of because of that age difference too, I wasn't so used to, one, I hadn't been in the dating scene for a long time. And two, I wasn't a texter. So the next day too, she was texting me. I'm like, "Can I just call you?" She's like, "Well, that's weird."
Yeah, it's not normal, which is why I liked you a lot. Yes, human conversation, which is why that's what we believe so strongly today. It's yes, real conversation means a lot.
Yeah, it is really the way to stand out in today's world, is if you could actually have a human conversation with somebody and get along with them and laugh with them and joke with, and just enjoy somebody's company. I think the relationships that form out of those type of conversations are relationships that sometimes could last a lifetime. And so what is because you guys are the standout authority here. I mean, you guys, teach us how to stand out, because look, a lot of the people that are watching right now, they are small business entrepreneurs. I mean, that's what this podcast is going to, the masses. It's a lot of small businesses, so can you give us some thoughts around, how we can better stand out?
Ooh, well, do you want me to start?
Yeah, of course, my dear.
So we believe that standing out first starts with you. which means it starts with your voice, your personal brand, your legacy, and the way in which you go to market. So what makes you you, and how are people going to relate to your unique offering, product, or service? It starts with the brand. We believe that bringing that brand to life is most powerful on LinkedIn.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.